Hey boys and girls, today we are on lesson 10-3, so we're in your module 10 through 20 book. Today's going to be very similar to yesterday. We are using our representations, our models, our visuals of division of unit fractions by whole numbers. So again, we're dividing our fractions by whole numbers, like a half divided by 4, a third divided by 2, like we did yesterday. We're just going to continue using those visual models to help us practice this skill. So we are on page 247. Follow along with me while we do this work. Okay, Darren thinks about how he can use division of unit fractions by whole numbers in his cooking class. He considers the expression a half divided by 8. What word problem can be written for 1/2 divided by 8? Draw a visual model and then explain what it represents. Okay, so this is fun, and this is something that we do see a lot. So we already know what we're doing. We are dividing a half by 8, but our job is to make a word problem that represents this, which can be kind of tricky because we have to make sure that this is what's being divided, our first number, which is a half. So we're going to draw a model first. So we know we have a half, and we know that we're dividing it in 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, squeeze another one up there. 8. Okay. And I know that each little part is, we have 8 16, 1 16th. So I know my answer needs to be 1/16. So now I need to think about, well, what's a word problem I could do? Okay. So really, this is up to you, what you choose. So I could say, and we're cooking, so we want to make it a cooking problem. So let's say I have a half a cup of cake batter. I can make 8 cupcakes, or I want to make 8 cupcakes. How much batter, not butter, will be in each cupcake? So that's going to make me take my half and divide it by 8. I have a half a cup of cake batter. I can make, let's say I want to make, I guess would sound better, 8 cupcakes. How much batter will be in each cupcake? Well, that's going to be a half divided by 8, and that's going to give me my 1/16. You could use lots of different things. You know, it looks like he's got some kind of batter. You could use anything, just as long as you're taking your half and you're putting it into 8 parts. Uh-oh. All right, so let's, gracious, turn to the back. All right, okay. Darren considers situations in which a fractional quantity is divided into equal groups. Don't let the big words scare you. A fraction is divided by a whole number. Darren thinks about 1/4 divided by 2. This thing is crooked and it's bothering me. Describe a situation in which 1/4 of an item can be divided into 2 parts. How do the quantities represent the dividend, divisor, and the quotient? Okay, pick whatever you want. All right. So we can say a granola bar is shared equally the granola bar is going to be the dividend because it's what's being divided. The equal parts is the divisor, and the answer is the quotient. So now it says write a word problem that can be modeled by this and includes a question about the size. Okay, so we need to make a problem. So let's stick with our granola bar. I think it messed up for a minute. So I was saying if we're going to stick with our granola bar, I have 1/4 of a granola bar, not very much, and I want to share it equally with my friend. So I have some and my friend has some. So that helps me know that it's divided by 2. How much will we each get? So we're going to draw a model to show this. So first I have 1/4. There's my whole granola bar. I only have 1/4 of it. If I'm going to divide it equally, then I'm putting it in 2 parts. And that means I get this piece, my friend gets this piece. This piece would actually be 1/8. So we each would get 1/8 of that. So if we're going to write a division equation, 1/4 divided by 2 equals 1/8. And 1/8, it says explain what the quotient represents, how much we each get. It's important to know what each thing represents. 1/4 is your granola bar, 2 is how it's being divided, and 1/8 is how much you each get. Okay, next page, 249. This is a very good piece of tape. All right, write and solve a problem that can be modeled by the expression 1/2 divided by 6. Draw a visual model to show the quotient and explain what it represents. What word problem can we write? Again, we're just going to be making up one. Now, when you're taking your test, you're not necessarily going to have to create a word problem as far as like on an EOG test, but you will get this problem and you'll choose A, B, C, or D. Which of these best models this problem? So we do need to know how to word this stuff. So again, it's totally up to you. It doesn't always have to be food. I feel like we always think we have to have pizza or pie or cake. It can be anything. It can be rope. So let's do rope for this one. You could do wood, anything. So I have 1/2 of a yard of rope. I want to use it equally for 6 projects. How much rope can I use for each project? I have 1/2 yard of rope and I'm using it equally for 6 projects. This helps me know I've got my 1/2, I'm dividing it by 6, and my answer is going to tell me how much I can use for each one. So if we're going to draw a visual model, we're going to draw a 1/2. Okay, and we're going to put it in 6 parts. So 1 project, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So each project is going to get this piece, which is represented 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. Each piece is 1/12. Just like we saw here, you probably saw the 2 and the 6 and it made you think of 12. As long as we know that that's 1/12. So the size of each part, 1/12. And that's How much for each project? Solve your word problem. What does the quotient represent? 1/12 yard of rope. Okay, so I hope that makes sense for y'all. All right, let's keep going. On the back, 250. Look at the visual model. Write a division word problem that can be represented by the visual model. Okay, this is good. So here, it's not telling us our numbers. We've got to look at that model to first see. Okay, so I've got these dotted lines are kind of showing you what's happening second, or how it's being divided. So I know it's being divided into 1, 2, 3 parts. It looks like I had fourths. So this is my 1/4 divided by 3. Now the reason it just has this blue in this one thing is because it's asking, it's showing what the answer would be. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things. So I probably shouldn't have done that. And I'm dividing them into 1, 2, 3 parts. So again, write a word problem. Sam has 1/4 bottle of water. He drinks it evenly at 3 meals. How much does he drink at each meal? So 1/4 divided by 3 is 1/12. We had our 1/4, we divided it in 3 parts, so we have a smaller amount, which would be 1/12. Amy writes a word problem that can be modeled by the expression 1/4 divided by 5. Complete her word problem. There are blank trucks that need to share the total amount of recycled plastic bottles equally. If there is a collection of blank ton of plastic bottles, then how much does each truck carry? So we've got to think, is there 1/4 of a truck or 5 trucks? I would think we're going to have our 5 trucks that share the plastic bottles equally. There's 1/4 ton, so that 1/4 divided among the 5 trucks is going to be what makes sense. A doctor has a half an hour to see 3 patients. If the doctor divides the time equally, how much will be spent with each patient? Draw a visual model. I have a half an hour. I'm dividing it among 3 patients. Everybody's going to get this little chunk of time, which is 1/6. A half divided by 3 is 1/6. All right, guys, keep working and doing your best. If you have any questions, let me know.